The leader of a nation met his old school friend and forgets that he is president. This story begins on an ordinary afternoon in Burkina Faso. The sun was shining brightly, and the streets were filled with the sound of people, cars, and daily life. In the middle of this busy road, a car suddenly broke down. The driver, worried and frustrated, stepped out of his vehicle. He looked around for help, but no one stopped. Everyone was in a hurry. Everyone was busy with their own life. And then, out of nowhere, a simple mechanic walked forward. He was not rich, he was not famous, but he carried something inside him, something very rare these days: kindness. Without asking any questions, the mechanic rolled up his sleeves and began working on the broken car. Sweat dripped from his forehead. His hands got dirty with grease and dust, but he kept working with patience, fixing the engine step by step. The driver, worried, whispered, "Brother, I don't have money right now. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe next week." The mechanic smiled softly and said, "Don't worry about the money. I'm not helping you for payment, I'm helping you because you are in need. One day, maybe someone will help me too. Life is about supporting each other." The driver stood there in shock. Who does such a thing in today's world? No demand for money. No demand for reward. Just pure, honest kindness. But what the mechanic did not know was that someone very important was standing nearby, watching him carefully. It was President Ibrahim Traoré himself. Dressed simply, with no big security or noise, he was quietly observing this scene. He saw how the mechanic worked hard. He saw how he refused payment. He saw how his face carried honesty and humility. Ibrahim's heart felt heavy. He thought to himself, in a world full of greed, here stands a man who gives without asking anything back. Who is this man? After the car was fixed, the mechanic wiped his hands with an old cloth. He smiled again, ready to go back to his small workshop. At that moment, Ibrahim Traoré stepped closer. The mechanic looked up, and for a second he froze. Those eyes, that face, that voice. "Wait. Is it really you?" the mechanic whispered, his voice shaking. Ibrahim's heart skipped a beat, because in that moment, he too realized the truth. This was not just any mechanic. This was his old school friend, the boy he once studied with, laughed with, dreamed with many years ago. Two worlds met again. One, the president of a nation. The other, a humble mechanic. For a moment, silence filled the air. Both men just stood there, staring at each other, one in disbelief, the other in shock. The mechanic's eyes filled with tears. "Ibrahim, my brother, my friend, I can't believe it's you." His voice broke, heavy with memories of the past. Ibrahim Traoré held his hand firmly, warmly. "Yes, it's me. And I can't believe it either. After all these years, fate has brought us together again." They sat down on a wooden bench nearby. The mechanic's clothes were dirty, his hands rough from work, but his heart was pure. He began to tell his story. "Do you remember, the mechanic said with a faint smile, "when we were children at school? We had nothing fancy, but we had dreams. We played football in the dust, we shared food from our little lunchboxes, and we always promised that one day, life would be better." Ibrahim nodded, his eyes soft. "Yes, I remember. We dreamed of changing the world together." But then the mechanic's smile faded. His voice grew heavy. "After school, life became very hard for me," he said. "My father passed away too early. My mother was sick. I had to drop out of my studies and start working as a helper in a garage." His voice cracked. "I wanted to continue my education. I wanted to build a future, but there was no money, no support. Every day I worked with oil and iron, fixing cars while watching others move forward in life." Ibrahim felt pain in his chest. His friend's journey had been full of sacrifice, while his own path had taken him to leadership. "But even in my struggles," the mechanic continued, "I always remembered our friendship, our dreams. I told myself, if I can't change the whole world, at least I can help the person standing in front of me. That is why, when I see someone in trouble, I cannot say no. It doesn't matter if they have money or not, because I know the pain of having nothing. Tears rolled down his cheeks as he spoke. Ibrahim, many nights I slept hungry. Many days I worked until my hands bled. But I never gave up. I stayed honest. I stayed true, because I believed that maybe, one day, God will reward me. And today, unknowingly, he had shown kindness in front of his old friend, who was now the president of an entire nation. Ibrahim Traoré listened carefully. Every word cut deep into his heart. He thought, how many more honest men like him are hidden in this country? Men who sacrifice, who live with dignity, but are never seen by the world. He realized that his friend was not just a mechanic. He was a symbol of resilience, a symbol of honesty, a symbol of hope. Ibrahim's eyes grew wet, but he held back his tears. He reached out and placed his hand on his friend's shoulder. My brother, you may think you lost everything, but in truth you kept the one thing most people lose, your humanity. And that makes you richer than many. For a while, both men stayed quiet. The sound of cars in the distance, the whisper of the wind. It felt as if the whole world had stopped. Ibrahim looked into his friend's tired eyes. He could see years of pain, sacrifice, and silent struggles. Then his friend spoke again. But Ibrahim, sometimes I ask myself, did I waste my life? Did I make the wrong choices? My children are growing, but they do not have the education they deserve. My wife works hard, but we are always struggling. Sometimes I feel, maybe life has been unfair to me. His voice trembled. He lowered his head in shame. Ibrahim Traoré's chest tightened. Here was a man, honest, kind, and hard-working, yet life had given him nothing but trials. Listen to me, my brother, Ibrahim said with strength in his voice. You did not waste your life. You chose dignity over dishonesty. You chose honesty over greed. You gave more than you had. That is not weakness. That is greatness. The mechanic looked up, his eyes red with tears, but Ibrahim continued. The world may not always reward men like you, but remember, God always sees. And today I see you too. Your story has touched my soul. The mechanic gave a weak smile. Ibrahim, I knew you would become someone great. Even in school you had fire in your eyes. But sometimes I fear, power changes people. Many leaders forget their people once they sit on the throne. His words were sharp but honest. Ibrahim's heart shook. He knew his friend was right. Many leaders in history had forgotten their roots, and he swore to himself, I will never be one of them. Ibrahim leaned back, looking at the sky. My brother, my journey was also not easy. When I trained as a soldier, I was far from home. I fought battles, not only with enemies, but with myself. Many tried to break me. Many tried to silence me. But I remembered where I came from. I remembered the dust of our village, the hunger we faced, the dreams we shared. He paused, his voice heavy. Leadership is not about sitting on a throne. It is about carrying the weight of millions. And today, when I see you, I am reminded of why I chose this path. For men like you, for families like yours, for the forgotten hearts of our nation. The mechanic wiped his eyes. For the first time in years, he smiled with hope. You are still the same Ibrahim I knew, he whispered. Ibrahim held his hand tightly. No, my brother. I am nothing without people like you. You remind me of my duty. You remind me of my soul. At that moment, two childhood friends sat side by side. One a president, the other a humble mechanic. But in truth, both were equal. Bound not by titles, but by friendship, loyalty, and a love for their people. Ibrahim stood up slowly, his eyes filled with determination. My brother, he said softly, Your story is not just your story. It is the story of thousands of men and women in our country. People who work hard every day. People who give more than they have yet live in silence. He placed his hand on his friend's shoulder. But today, this silence must break. Ibrahim walked toward the mechanic's small workshop. The old tools, the broken chairs, the smell of oil and dust, everything spoke of a hard life. He turned back to his friend. From today, this place will not just be a workshop. It will be a place of respect. A place that reminds people that even the smallest hands can hold the biggest hearts. His friend looked confused. What do you mean, Ibrahim? Ibrahim smiled gently. I will help rebuild this workshop, but not as charity. No. It will be a message to the nation that dignity belongs to every worker. That honesty will never be forgotten. The mechanic's hands trembled. Ibrahim, I never asked you for anything. I cannot accept this. I fixed your car because of our friendship, not for reward. Ibrahim held his hand firmly. And I am not giving you a reward, my brother. I am honoring you, because you reminded me of the values that make a nation strong. Loyalty, kindness, sacrifice. Tears rolled down the mechanic's face. For years, no one had ever seen his struggle. But today, the president of the nation was telling him, you matter. Ibrahim turned to his guards and advisors who had been watching silently. Remember this moment, he told them. True power is not shown in palaces or armies. True power is shown when a leader kneels beside his people, when he lifts the forgotten, when he honors the unseen. The men nodded, deeply moved. Ibrahim then faced his friend again. You once believed in me when I was nothing. Now, it is my turn to believe in you. Your children will study, your family will live with dignity, and your story will inspire the whole country. For the first time in many years, the mechanic's heart felt light. He hugged Ibrahim tightly, whispering, Thank you, my brother. Thank you for not forgetting who you are. And Ibrahim whispered back, I could never forget, because you are my reminder. The two men stood in the fading sunlight, one in uniform, one in old work clothes, but their souls shone the same. In that moment, a bond of friendship became a symbol of hope for an entire nation. A few days later, people gathered outside the mechanic's small workshop. The sun was bright, children were laughing, and neighbors whispered to one another. Why, has the president come here again? Ibrahim stood proudly beside his friend. The workshop had been cleaned, painted, and repaired. New tools were neatly placed inside. But more than that, the place was now a symbol of dignity. Ibrahim raised his hand, and the crowd fell silent. People, he began, his voice strong but filled with warmth. Today I want to share a story of a man you all know. A simple mechanic. A man who fixes cars with his hands but heals hearts with his honesty. He turned to his friend. This man once helped me when I had nothing. He reminded me that true wealth is not in money, but in kindness. That loyalty is stronger than gold. Ibrahim looked across the crowd, his eyes burning with emotion. My brothers and sisters, this nation will not rise because of palaces, nor because of soldiers. It will rise because of men and women like him. People who work hard every day, people who give more than they take, people who carry hope even in silence. The crowd nodded, some with tears in their eyes. From the stage, Ibrahim continued, From today, let the world know. In Burkina Faso, no honest man will be forgotten. No worker will be left behind. No sacrifice will be unseen. This workshop will be remembered as a symbol of dignity, and this friendship will be remembered as a symbol of loyalty. The crowd erupted in applause. The mechanic lowered his head, tears streaming, but this time not from pain, from pride. As the sun began to set, Ibrahim placed his arm around his friend and whispered, We started as boys with nothing. Today we stand as men with everything, not because of power, but because of values. The camera would close on the two friends standing side by side, one in the uniform of a president, one in the clothes of a mechanic, but both carrying the same heart, the heart of Africa. True leaders never forget where they came from. True friends never leave your side. And true nations are built not by wealth, but by loyalty, dignity, and hope. Thank you for watching this heartfelt story. If this tale of friendship, loyalty, and humanity touched your heart, then don't forget to support us. So make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon so you never miss our upcoming stories. Until next time, stay strong, stay hopeful, and remember, greatness begins with kindness.